All right, welcome into Prep Talk. I'm your host, Woody. Wanted to let you know you need to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well to know when new shows are coming out. Today, I have a special guest, one of my old coaches back from high school. This is Coach Kelly. I call him Coach Kelly. This is David Kelly. We're here at New Hope Presbyterian, and we want to talk to you about being a character coach.
Yeah.
So I know you from being an assistant coach at Eustis High School. I think, what did you coach? Receivers?
Coach receivers and defensive backs.
And you're my English teacher.
High school English teacher, yeah.
And I think I did journalism with you as well.
Okay,
yeah. So if you could talk a little bit about how you became an English teacher. I mean, I know you went to the lovely University of Florida.
The University of Florida. And as my former English student, you know that the word "the" is a definite article. So we know that the University of Florida means there's only one.
There's only one.
Yeah.
There's only one. That's right.
So, I became an English teacher, really, I think, out of a favor from the high school principal at the time. He noticed that I was hanging around taking tickets and just volunteering at dances, and I was always around. My wife had gotten a job there before
Miss
me,
Kelly,
in 1995, and we were just dating, so I was always hanging around trying to see her. And then we got married in 1996, and I had taken a job in the community selling advertisements. And one day the principal...
What, for like newspapers?
For one of the local newspapers, selling some advertisements and just going around to different businesses trying to get them to promote their business, and wasn't making a whole lot of money, and was kind of just like, I don't know if this is going to make it for me. And my wife called me and said, hey, the principal said if you come to the school right now, you can sign on the dotted line and be an English teacher and maybe coach some sports. So that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah.
January of 1997.
That's when you started.
That's when I started as an English teacher at Eustis High School.
And you coached football. I think you coached girls basketball
and girls softball. And I did 1 year of boys 9th grade baseball.
Okay, so, that was a thing.
That was a thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I had R.C. Keaton and some of those guys.
Some throwback names right there, Coach. So I wanted to talk to you because you're now in the 11th year at Tavares, or 10th year?
This is my 12th year as
your 12th year. Yes, as a character coach. So that's why I want to talk about a character coach. So a lot of us know it as a chaplain.
Right.
What is a character coach?
So FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Yes, sir.
They started a program where their motto is to and through the coaches. So the best way that they felt like they could minister to a team or to a school was to really help equip coaches with the gospel.
Right. Okay.
And so a character coach really is somebody who has decided that they're going to come into a football team or basketball team or whatever sports team it is, and talk to the coach and say, how can we serve you?
Right.
And how can we help instill character into your players? And so really a character coach is there to offer encouragement, to offer just some ways that the team can grow as a third dimension, really. So one of the coaches over at Edgewater High School kind of developed this 3D coaching. I don't know if you've heard of that or not.
No.
But I would strongly suggest that anybody look at that. It's Jeff Dukes. He created this 3D coaching, and FCA has kind of picked it up. And we all know that to be a good athlete, you have to be physically trained.
Absolutely.
And you have to be mentally tough.
Yeah.
You have to have mental training. But the third aspect is some sort of spiritual formation or character formation.
That's the third dimension.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you have all three of those as a team, it's been proven that your team is much more cohesive and much more stronger.
Right. Okay. So character. Like, I don't know who I heard this from.
Yeah.
I want to say it's my dad, but I'm not sure. But character just kind of means being a good dude.
Yeah.
And the way I've always kind of lived is like, people make decisions about you when you're not in the room.
Right.
That kind of speak, like, so be a good dude. So you're in their favor if decisions are being made by you, like,
Right.
or about you.
Yeah.
So what does character mean to you? Is that just kind of being a good dude?
Yeah. So character, I think you can look at a couple different ways. One is, I would say, definitely that way. We used to tell our players, and you probably remember this from football, is um, who are you going to be when nobody's looking?
Right.
Like what decisions are you going to make when nobody's there?
Even knows,
That
right.
kind of tells the character of a person, right? Like,
right.
if you're tempted to do something good or something bad and nobody's watching you, which one are you going to choose?
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
that way, definitely. And then I like to think of character too as just kind of, I guess it's the same thing, but what are you living for?
Right. Right.
And what drives you? So I think you can be a good dude, but be selfish.
At the
You
same
could like
time, yeah.
you could do all the right things, but you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
And then for me, I think character is about one character and one
Yeah.
story. And so I believe in Jesus, and not ashamed to say that.
Right.
And so for me, he's the one character
Yeah.
in the one
Yeah.
story that I think is worth following and worth emulating
And we're telling others about.
and telling
Right.
others about, because he's the only person that I've ever found, and I've been a lot of places and done a lot of things, but he's the only person that I've found that has never let me down, has always loved me,
Right.
and has always directed me in the right way to go. And so if I want to tell somebody about character, I'm going to tell them about that character.
Yeah.
That type of character.
So is that the main message you try to get across? Like, so I know you said you've been at Tavares, 12 years, and you see them once a week on the team meal?
Usually during the season, I see them once a week during the team meal.
So what's the main message there that you're trying to get across? Because you only get that little bit of time. I mean, maybe an hour.
So usually I have about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, before they eat.
that I talk, and I really want to give two messages. And one is that they need to have a relationship with God.
Right.
And whether I don't force that on anybody, I just offer that as like, I've found that when I have that relationship for me, it makes a world of difference in my life, and I'm encouraging them to check it out.
Yeah.
Just to know about it. And the other relationship is with each other, how important their relationship as teammates are.
Right.
So I usually talk about,
I really agree with that.
I really talk about how in sports, knowing that you're playing for a bigger purpose, like God put you here to be a football. You're one of only 40 kids that made the varsity football team. That's pretty special.
Oh yeah.
And you have an opportunity that's been given to you to do something. And so I try to communicate that every week, is that you're playing for a bigger purpose than just yourself.
Right.
And then the other thing is that you're playing for that person next to you. So those two relationship aspects is what I like to
stress. So there's a level of trust that you should have with someone else or the guy next to you to do what they need to do.
Yeah, you're not out there sweating in the summer heat and the spring heat and the January heat and just the heat of Florida.
Yeah, alone. That's enough to kind of just be cool with somebody.
Yeah.
So is character tied to religion to you, so to speak? I mean,
it can be, and I think it can or it can't be. I think you can have good character and be non-religious. I mean, I think you can do good things, but for me, I think it's important to tie it back to Jesus.
Yeah.
In the way that I live my life, because he has loved us, and so the only way I can love somebody is to know that I've been loved.
Right.
And so I think that that's an important factor in why I do what I do, and I think other people, I don't know why they do what they do, but that's that's where I come from. So,
and some of the principles that we share as Christians, I mean, it's kind of being a good dude,
yeah,
So I think it's tied in perfectly with it, with
yeah,
character. Even if you're not pushing it on someone else, it kind of goes hand in hand. I mean,
right. I think people can see the difference. I think when you are serving someone and you're loving someone and you're caring about someone, I think that kind of shines through
right,
and people notice. And you don't have to necessarily force it on anybody, but you just show up. And
right,
so I,
right.
I like to call it a ministry of presence a lot of times.
Just being there.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think the fact that you show up and you care or you show up and you serve shows a lot about your character.
right. So is that a challenge, or has it been challenging to kind of teach character or build character within these players? And that maybe they don't kind of share the same
Sure.
beliefs as you, as what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, is that a challenge?
absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I think we more and more we live in a world where people don't know about the Bible or they
Right.
don't
Want
uh,
to know.
want to know about the Bible and so I think the challenge is just to share with them the hope that the Bible brings me
Right.
and the security that it brings me, the peace that it brings me.
And they can do
And
whatever they want with that.
right, and
Right.
they can either take it or leave it. But I think it's harder and harder to instill character in people without being able to spend time with them.
Right. Right.
And we live in such a fast-paced society that learning how to build relationships with people in a world where relationships are somewhat surfacey
Yeah.
is harder and
Oh
harder.
yeah. Oh yeah. Social media has something to do with that, probably.
Yeah.
You're just kind of seeing what you want on social media, and
Oh
then
yeah.
you see
Or
them in a
texting.
yeah.
You don't even talk to people face to
Right. You
face. You
don't
just
do it,
text
and
them.
it's actually hard
Yeah.
sometimes to kind of be direct.
Yeah. And so I found that even the younger and younger the players are getting, and the older and older that I'm getting,
Right.
the harder it is to have face to face conversations with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, going with as long as you've been doing this,
Yeah.
we can just go 12 years, but you've been at New Hope now,
I just finished my 21st year,
right?
July 1st.
And
So,
so you have a youth group that you do here at this church
correct.
on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So you've been doing it long enough now where someone can have grown up, have a marriage,
Prime example.
right?
Yeah.
They're married, they have kids, and they
Yeah.
moved on. So, like, what's the payoff
Yeah.
for
For
is there a
longevity.
payoff? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Do you get to
I think,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think, in ministry, you always have that thought in your head. Are do people care? Are
Right.
people being affected? Are people changing? And
Yeah. Am I making an
am I
impact?
making a difference? So, like this past summer, I had actually been wrestling with that, like
Yeah.
that idea of should I keep doing this? Should I be a character coach again? Are my
Right.
messages hitting home? And I had a young lady at summer camp come up to me, and she was in college, and she was coming back to summer camp as a volunteer, helping her youth group out.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and she says, "I've been meaning to tell you this for a couple of years, but whenever I was in middle school, you spoke at a retreat, and I decided to give my life to Christ."
Wow.
And I just,
Yeah.
just started crying. I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow!" I'd never had anybody tell me that,
Right. Right.
And so that just kind of was an affirmation for me. Like, you may not know
Yeah.
when the Holy Spirit or when God's gonna take what you say or what you do
And sometimes it can be the
to
smallest
influence.
thing that
Yeah,
just kind of pulled someone.
yeah. You could have bought somebody lunch, or you could have
Yeah.
you could have smiled and said, "Hey," in the hallway, or
Yeah.
you could have done anything.
Right.
Yeah,
That's huge. So you've seen a lot of former kids that are adults or anything,
yeah.
and that's awesome to hear that someone got saved.
Right.
Yeah, but just because of what you did or said.
Yeah, and I don't even remember. Who knows? I couldn't even tell you what I said that long ago.
Wow. So, okay, is there something that has happened differently? Because you've been doing it so long
Right.
now. So, like, is there a new way that you found to kind of reach someone to be more effective? I mean, because I know you've been.
I would say just being intentional on forming relationships with people. I mean, it's amazing
I
to
love the
me.
intent.
It's
Yeah.
amazing to me to think back. I only was at Eustis for 4 years,
Yeah.
and as a teacher, and
Wait, so you left after the best class left?
after 2001, yeah, I said these guys are gone. I'm out.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how many of your classmates still see me in town and
Yeah.
call me coach.
I can't
20
call you
years,
anything else.
20 years later. So just thinking about, how our relationship there carried through the
Oh
years,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And so just the I've always, I don't know that it's new, but I think it's always becoming apparent to me how important relationships always are.
Right. Right. I think relationships are important in everything. I mean, that's kind of why I'm coaching now.
Right.
Is because of you guys coaching me then. I didn't make it to the league. I wanted to make it to the league.
Right.
But after that didn't happen, I wanted to be in football in some kind of capacity.
Giving back. Yeah.
To give back. And when my first year coaching, I was like, this is pretty awesome. It's really rewarding. Not financially, but it's really rewarding. And I was like, man, this is kind of like feeling my spirit, I like this. And so when I stopped doing it, I went away. I moved to Orlando and moved back. I wanted to get back into it as soon as I could, because I want to be around the youth. I think I have something to offer. Absolutely. And I may not be a character coach, but there is something to kind of being there, forming good relationships.
I think every coach is a character coach. I mean, in one way or the other, you're forming young men, and you're teaching them the right way to do things.
Yeah, you can be a good example or a horrible warning.
Right.
So
right.
That's kind of the way it goes. So. Coach, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a busy guy, and I do want to tell you, I do appreciate you doing this. I'm still new in this thing, and I definitely wanted to talk to you because not everyone knows that there is a character coach out there, So, and you're meeting with these players once a week, and you're kind of spreading the gospel. I don't want to say it, but just being a good dude, and they're going into society and kind of being good dudes, having good character, and I think that's so important.
Yeah.
So,
well, I would just say, one of the reasons I love high school football so much is, and one of the reasons that I've continued just to do it year after year, is the importance of community aspect. And so what I try to preach to our players, we live in a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok society where everybody just wants a highlight.
Oh yeah.
But I try to preach to them this idea that you're not only just a part of a team for 1 year or for 4 years, but just like you were part of this Eustis Panther team for a few years.
Yeah.
You graduated, and now you see that the team is bigger than a team. It's actually a program and a community influence. And so now you're coming back and giving back to your community. And what a special thing that is to see, because our communities need places to gather and to fellowship and to be encouraged. In a world where we're all going 100 miles in different ways, high school football is still one of those places where you can have an identity, and you can have something to support, and you can be excited about. And so I think it's a great thing for a school. I think it's a great thing for a community. I think it's a great thing for a person to be involved in.
You kind of brought up the gathering. You talked to me about the G's.
Yeah.
So gathering, games, and growing together. Yeah. I think that's so important. I mean, we gather at the school.
Yeah.
We play the game of football.
That's right.
And we're growing together.
And you're growing together in life. Yeah. You're learning so many life lessons in football. I mean, you could probably tell me all the things you learned through high school football.
Oh,
and we'd be here for another episode.
I think it's kind of shaped who I am. I mean, I was blessed enough to have a dad and kind of guide me. But at the same time, his voice was not as loud as some of my teammates or maybe my coaches.
I was going to ask you, did you go on the Mars Hill trip?
I did. I went twice.
So
Blaine Romano's there. He's playing there right now.
The year that the bus broke down on the side of the road. Do you remember that? All I remember is that we went on this thing that Coach Darlington had us go on, and we go up to
North Carolina.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
and there's hills everywhere, and we're doing 3-a-days, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for this.
This
Like,
is
what in the
nuts.
world are we doing? It was like one of the hardest things. And
It was a full week, wasn't it?
I remember, I
Yeah.
remember the coaches. We had pool time in the afternoon, and the coaches were toast. I mean, we were just like barely staying awake, and somebody jumped in that couldn't swim in the deep end. They went all the way to the bottom, and we all woke up and jumped in the pool and had to rescue it.
They had an Olympic size or style
Swimming
pool. Yeah, it was really
huge.
nice. Yeah. I
So,
do remember that.
that was great.
So again, you know,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for this. Is there anything you want to kind of talk about? Anything you want to plug?
I would just say, if you are able to support high school football in any way, whether
Yeah.
you're a fan, whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach,
Yeah.
whether you're a community member that just donates to the program, that I would just encourage, our people to go out and watch local high school
Yeah.
football. It's one of the most pure forms of entertainment that you're going to get,
Yeah.
and it really is a lot of fun.
And it's
So
good
you
for
get-
the community to edify the
Absolutely.
players
You got
and
the
the
band,
coaches.
and you got the cheerleaders. You got so many things going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of fun. So I'd encourage you to just go out, find a football game, a prep game on Friday night,
Yeah.
and go enjoy the evening.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks again.
Hey, thanks, Woody.
And guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you know when new shows are coming out. This is Coach David Kelly, my dude, good character dude. And thanks again for watching Prep Talk with Woody.